Good morning, students of class 9. You are welcome back to the e-classes now. Let's continue our lesson in our English. We are doing lesson 9 from the textbook, and we are doing the bond of love. It's about the love between the animal and the human beings. So as far as we have learned so far, love is a language that all animals, birds, and even human beings can understand. Deaf, dumb, blind can understand the language of love. Now we'll learn about how animals show love and how they behave once they receive the love from the human beings. Now, so far we have learned about Bruno was taken back home because the writer's wife could not separate from him. She could not stay away from him. She loved him so much. Once Bruno was back home, what happened at home? How he was kept? Because there was always a danger that the Bruno might or Baba might harm the tenant's children. That's why something has to be done. So now here there are altogether 6 points I've written over here. Well, let's go through this properly one by one. Listen carefully and pay attention. Now once Bruno was brought back home, a squad means group, a squad of coolies means laborers, that's a Hindustani word, coolie, that's a laborers. A squad of coolies were engaged, they were kept busy. Engaged means to keep a person busy or to keep someone busy. Engaged for special work at home. A group of coolies were brought by the writer and they were given a special work in their compound. The writer had a big compound, very big area. So the compound was very big and the coolies were engaged in some kind of work. What was the work? Now you see. An island was made. A big island was made and it was surrounded by a dry pit. An island was made for Baba there in the compound. The island was surrounded by a dry pit. The pit means you can say in Hindi we say gadda, or it is a drain like, but very big, a dry pit, and it is also called a moat, M-O-A-T, moat. A dry pit is called a moat. It was 20 feet long. And 15 feet wide. The island was 20 feet long and 15 feet wide and surrounded by a dry pit, and 7 feet deep. The moat or the pit was 7 feet deep, quite deep, and 6 feet wide. So the pit was 7 feet deep and it was 6 feet wide. 6 feet wide and 7 feet deep, and the length of the island was 20 feet and the breadth of the island was 15 feet, quite big area. So it was constructed by the coolies. They were given this special work. So once a wooden box, after the island was ready, after the pit was dug, after the moat was dug, a wooden box that once housed fowls means hens. A big wooden box was kept there. Previously it was used to keep hens by the writer. Now there are no hens, so the big wooden box was kept there that once housed fowls was brought and put it on the island for Baba to sleep. A straw was placed so that Baba could sleep comfortably. So the box was kept and the straw was placed. Straw means dry grass, especially once the paddy is cut, once the grain is taken out, that's called a straw. A paddy straw was kept there for Baba to sleep comfortably at night. A long wooden chair was also kept, a long wooden chair. Usually we see this type of chair in the park or near the railway stations. So this type of long wooden chair was also kept there in the island, on the island, along with his toys. His toys were also kept there. A long chair was also kept there. In a few days, after some days, after a week maybe, in a few days the coolies, they have completed constructing the pit or the island, and they carried the cage along with the Baba. They hoisted the cage on the island. They kept the island on, they kept the cage along with the Baba on the island. And Baba was released. The door of the cage was opened and Baba came out from the cage on the island. Baba was released. Release means set free. Baba was very much delighted. Baba was very much delighted, so that the tenants' children could not go there and disturb him. He was at home. The compound was of the writer, and he was at home. Now he is safe. So he was very much delighted once he was released on the island. The author's wife, the writer's wife, the author's wife spent hours sitting on the chair there. The author's wife used to sit there, go there, feed him, and she used to sit there for hours. And Baba used to come and sit on her lap. This is called a lap. So, author's wife spent hours sitting on a chair there on the island, while Baba sat on her lap. Lap means this is the lap. He was 15 months old, quite big. Baba was 15 months old by the time he was brought back home. He was 15 months old and was pretty heavy. He was quite heavy. He had outgrown the Alsatian dogs. He was grown big and quite heavy, pretty heavy too. So now Baba was safe and he was very happy. He is not far away from the house. He is in the house and in the compound of the house. Now in our next class we'll talk about, to be continued, the way she means writer's wife, author's wife. The way author's wife used to go on the island. How she used to go there. Take food for him. How? Because the pit, the dry pit was 7 feet deep and 6 feet wide. How she will go there? If she put a plank or a wooden something there to go, the other children will also go from there. So how she managed to go there, we'll talk about in our next class. That will be the last portion. How she used to go there and how she used to come was also quite interesting. Because if she placed the plank or some wooden plank there, then naturally the tenants' children will also go there and start teasing Bruno. So keeping a wooden plank is not the option, otherwise it becomes meaningless. So keeping a plank was not the option. How she manages to go and how she manages to come was quite interesting. Now we will talk about that in our next class. Every now and then writer's wife used to go there and sit with Baba because that was her lovely pet. She treated him like her own child. So much she loved. She used to feed him very often with all kinds of things. So in our next class we'll talk about that. The way she used to go and the way she used to come was also quite interesting. So we'll talk about that in our next class. That will be the last portion of our chapter, the bond of love. So that's all for today. So thank you very much for your presence and for your attention. We'll meet in the next class and complete the last portion of the lesson, the bond of love. So that's all for today. You stay safe at home and go through the online portal every day. It doesn't take a long time. So that's all for today. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you very much.